Horror movies are designed to scare us, get under our skin and make us feel uncomfortable long after the credits have rolled. However, some movies take freedom of speech to a whole new level and present us with material that borders the lines between morally and ethically acceptable and what's not. So today on Top 10 Beyond the Screen, I'm going to be counting down our list of the top 10 banned movies you should never watch. Let's jump in. In at 10, The Human Centipede 2 Full Sequence. The Human Centipede 2 Full Sequence is a 2011 British-Dutch exploitation horror film, written, directed and co-produced by Tom Six, the sequel to Six's 2009 film The Human Centipede. The film stars Lawrence R. Harvey as a mentally impaired Englishman who watches and becomes obsessed with the first Human Centipede film, and decides to make his own centipede consisting of 12 people, including Ashlyn Yenny, an actress from the very first film. The film received a huge amount of attention for all the wrong reasons, simply for its graphic depictions of violence, sexual violence and body horror. It was subject to heavy censorship throughout the world, where it was sometimes edited to remove objectionable content or banned altogether. The film was so extreme that the movie was initially refused classification in the UK, with members of the BBFC saying no amount of cuts would make the movie acceptable enough to be exhibited or sold. Respect. In at 9, Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer is a 1986 psychological horror crime film directed and co-written by John McNaughton about the random crime spree of a serial killer who seemingly operates with impunity. Upon its release, it attracted both controversy and positive critical attention. It was rated X by the MPAA, further increasing its reputation for controversy, simply because X ratings were usually for pornos. In the UK, the film has had a long and complex relationship with the BBFC. In 1991, distributor Electric Pictures submitted the film for classification with 38 seconds already removed, and it wasn't until 2003 that a full uncut version was released. A parallel censoring of the film happened in New Zealand, where the film was originally banned outright by the film censor in 1992. A censored version was subsequently released on home video with cuts to the family massacre sequence. Bless. In at 8, Snuff. Snuff is a 1976 splatter film directed by Michael Finley and Horatio Fredrickson. It is most notorious for being marketed as if it were an actual snuff film. The plot follows actress Terry London and her producer Max Marsh, who visit an unnamed country in South America. A female biker cult led by a man named Satan stalks and eventually murders the pregnant London and her circle of friends. Distributor Shackleton reportedly hired fake protesters to picket movie theaters showing the film upon its release. Although the film was exposed as a hoax in Variety in 1976, it still became popular in New York, LA and Boston. The rumors persisted that the film displayed a real-life murder. Prompted by complaints and petitions from well-known writers, an investigation began into the circumstances surrounding the film's production, conducted by New York District Attorney Robert M. McGuinty, who dismissed the supposedly real murder as nothing more than a conventional trick photography. In at 7, Traces of Death. Traces of Death is a 1993 Z-movie Mondo shockumentary that consists of various scenes of stock footage depicting death and real scenes of violence. Now, unlike the earlier Faces of Death, which included fake deaths and reenactments, Traces consists mostly of actual footage depicting death and injury, and consists also of public domain footage from other films. Now, the film, as you would expect, has run into controversy worldwide due to its graphic content. In 1997, Amy Hochberg, a woman living in Coaldale, Pennsylvania, rented the film from a video store and was so disgusted by the film's content that she considered keeping the tape as to avoid children from procuring it. In 2005, the BBFC refused to give the first film age certificate, effectively banning it. The BBFC also considered the film to have no journalistic, educational, or other justifying context for the images shown, while also suggesting that the film could potentially breach UK law under the Obscene Publications Act. In at 6, ILSA, She-Wolf of the SS. ILSA, She-Wolf of the SS is a 1975 Nazi-ploitation, sexploitation film directed by Don Edmonds, produced by David F. Friedman and written by Jonah Royston. The plot follows ILSA, a commandant of a Nazi prison camp who conducts sadistic scientific experiments designed to demonstrate that women are more capable of enduring pain than men are, and therefore should be allowed to fight in the German armed forces. ILSA is also portrayed as a buxom woman with a voracious sexual appetite for men. It's certainly not hard to see why the film became banned, considering the commander's thrill for torturing prisoners in an effort to prove their threshold for pain. Despite this fact, the movie has a devoted fanbase and 3 sequels, animals, which is absolutely insane. However, UK, Norway and Australia aren't fans, with the movie still remaining banned in those countries even today. In at 5, NEKROMANTIK. NEKROMANTIK is a 1987 West German horror exploitation film co-written and directed by Jörg Buttgereit. The plot follows a street sweeper who cleans up after grisly accidents. However, one day he brings home a full corpse for himself and his wife to enjoy sexually, but is dismayed to see that his wife prefers the corpse over him. This is by far one of the most distasteful movies on our entire list and revolves around the social taboo of necrophilia. The film, as you would expect, defied the censorship standards of West Germany at the time and was banned in numerous countries upon its release, not just because of necrophilia but also due to the cruelty towards animals. This film is truly disgusting. In at 4, Cannibal Holocaust. Cannibal Holocaust is a 1980 Italian cannibal horror film directed by Ruggero Deodato and stars Robert Kerman as Harold Monroe, an anthropologist from New York University who leads a rescue team into the Amazon rainforest to locate a crew of filmmakers. The crew had gone missing while filming a documentary on local cannibal tribes, and when the rescue team is only able to recover the crew's lost cans of film, an American television station wishes to broadcast the footage as a sensationalized television special. Upon viewing the reels, Monroe is appalled by the team's actions and objects to the station's intent to air the documentary. Since its initial release, Cannibal Holocaust has been the target of censorship by moral and animal activists. Other than the graphic gore, the film contains several scenes of sexual violence and genuine cruelty to animals. 10 days after its premiere in Milan, Cannibal Holocaust was confiscated under the orders of local magistrate, and Ruggero Deodato was charged with obscenity. Although the snuff film allegations were disproven, the Italian courts decided to ban Cannibal Holocaust due to the genuine and animal slayings, citing animal cruelty laws. In at number 3, SALO, or 120 Days of Sodom. SALO is a 1975 period horror art film directed by Pier Paolo Pasolini. The film is a loose adaptation of the book The 120 Days of Sodom by the Marquis de Sade, set during World War II, and was Pasolini's final film. The film focuses on 4 wealthy, corrupt Italian libertines in the time of the fascist Republic of Salo. The libertines kidnap 18 teenagers and subject them to 4 months of extreme violence, murder, sadism, and sexual and mental torture. SALO has been banned in several countries because of its graphic portrayals of rape, torture, and murder, mainly of people thought to be younger than 18 years of age. The film remains banned in several countries and sparked numerous debates among cities and censors about whether or not it constituted pornography due to its nudity and graphic depictions of sex acts. It's honestly disgusting. No one should see it. In at 2, I Spit on Your Grave. I Spit on Your Grave is a 1978 rape and revenge horror film written, directed and edited by Miyazaki. The film tells the story of Jennifer Hills, a fiction writer based in New York City, who exacts revenge on each of her tormentors after 4 men gang rape her and leave her for dead. The film is noted for its very controversial depiction of extreme graphic violence, particularly the lengthy depictions of gang rape that take up to 30 minutes of the film's runtime. Many nations, including Ireland, Norway, Iceland, and West Germany, banned the film altogether, claiming that it glorified violence against women. Canada initially banned the film, but in the 1990s decided to allow its individual provinces to decide whether to permit its release. In the United Kingdom, the film was branded a video nasty, with it appearing on the Director of Public Prosecution's list of prosecutable films until 2001. And finally, coming in at number 1, a Serbian film. A Serbian film is a 2010 exploitation horror film that tells the story of a financially struggling porn star who agrees to participate in an art film, only to discover that he has been drafted into a snuff film with pedophilic and necrophilic themes. A Serbian film is perhaps one of the most notoriously shocking horror movies of the last decade, simply because of its heinous acts of murder, necrophilia, and torture. Of course, with such sensitive subject matter, it is no surprise that the movie was banned in a handful of countries. In Spain, the film was banned by court in San Sebastian for threatening sexual freedom and thus could not be shown. On May 25, 2012, the film was banned outright by the New Zealand Office of Film and Literature Classification. Honestly, please never watch this movie. It is perhaps one of the most disturbing and upsetting films I've ever seen, and that's saying something. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? Are there any banned movies that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 2. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another beyond the screen vid. And until next time, see you later. But great. By Jörg Buttgereit. Literally, there's someone who births a baby standing up. It makes me feel sick. I feel sick.